Mike Missanelli Show, and you are listening to WPEN HD, Burlington, Philadelphia. Beasley Media Group Station, broadcasting live from the Comcast Business Studio, powering possibilities. I got to tell you, I feel a little bit of worry today. You know, this is the day that we're inching up closest now, and I'm worried about Jalen Hurts. Maybe I shouldn't be worried. Maybe this is normal stuff. But I, like a lot of other people that I've seen on social media, would like to be comforted with the fact that he has passed this concussion protocol, and we won't know this until Thursday. Now, there are two things here. One is it takes a little longer to pass this type of concussion. It's normal medical prudence. The other thing is, are they doing this to mess up Green Bay's preparation by making the Packers prepare for a Hurts thing and a non-Hurts thing to dilute their preparation? I don't know, but I'm a little worried about it, and I'm sorry for that. To me, this should have been cleared up. Now, I know, listen, I'm not a brain trauma specialist here, but it seems to me that we would have gotten a little bit of clearance a little earlier on this situation, and now I'm a little worried about it. They're going to spring it on. It's Thursday. Okay, he's good to go. He competed in full practice, and that would take our worries away. But that's cutting it pretty close. And the way they have handled this, Sirianni has been very tight-lipped about this situation, and I would think that he could be a little more optimistic about it. He's going to be fine, but we're not worried about it, blah, blah, blah. Instead, he goes the other way, and he says, he's going through the concussion protocol. All he's saying about it. And I don't know, is this a ruse? How do people feel about this? Are you worried at all? Because, frankly, I don't think the Eagles win the game without Jalen Hurts playing against the Packers. I've said that. No matter how you feel about Tanner McKee, he won't start. It'll be Kenny Pickett will be the starter. And you see Kenny Pickett winning a playoff game? I guess it's possible. But that certainly dilutes the Eagles' chances to beat the Green Bay Packers. I don't think they can beat the Packers without Jalen Hurts. So I am worried about it. The whole crew is here. Bill Colarulo's here. Ray Dunn is here. So, Bill, I'll go you right away. Do you have any worry at all about this concussion protocol with the starting quarterback?
Do I have any worry about Jalen Hurts and the concussion protocol? No. Not a single one.
Not a single worry.
No, he's going to play on Sunday. I don't think there's any question about it. I think that, one, to get through the concussion protocol, you have to go through the different phases, and I think one of them is full football activity. So they didn't have him do anything last week because they knew he wasn't going to play against the New York Giants. So I think tomorrow when they get on the practice field, you'll see Jalen Hurts, and they'll tell you he's out of the protocol. Now, let me give you a caveat, though. I don't have concerns that he doesn't play, but I do understand people who have some concerns about rust. I think he's going to be fine. I think as long as he gets a full week of practice, as long as he's back on the practice field tomorrow, no concerns. But I do understand the people who are saying, hey, this guy hasn't practiced in 2 weeks. He hasn't played in basically 3 full football games. Is he going to be ready for week 1 of the playoffs? I think he's going to be fine. But your concern is what? That he's actually not going to play?
Yes. My concern. Listen, I understand he wasn't going to play against the Giants. Why would he be on the practice field? How could that have hurt? If he was on the practice field, if he was okay, if he had cleared concussion protocol, why would he not be on the practice field? They don't have to play on Sunday, but it's just a matter of keeping the guy sharp if he had passed the concussion protocol.
But I think for him to pass it, he has to practice.
Okay, that's what I'm saying.
So they would have had to get him back on the practice field last week.
Why would he have practiced?
I guess they looked at it as a week that they could maybe give him more time so there's no issues. Don't rush him.
Why? What's the point? He wasn't going to do anything in practice. Not going to get hit. Why couldn't he have gone through a practice?
Now, I don't know
if he was recovered.
I don't know this. This would be my assumption based off of other things that Nick Sirianni has done during his tenure. Competitive advantage. I could see Nick Sirianni saying
that. Gets to my second point. They're doing this for a competitive advantage. They're not putting him on a football field where he can sharpen up for a competitive advantage, and all of a sudden they're going to throw him on a practice field on Thursday? Does that sound prudent to you?
Well, they get him on Wednesday, right? He can be out there tomorrow. I think he could get out there tomorrow, just not do any
Wednesday,
contact.
There isn't anything yet.
Are they practicing tomorrow?
I don't think. From what I can read, it's Thursday when the first time that they'll see him on a practice field.
Yeah, let me look at that because we did get the media schedule and all that stuff. Ray, are they back on the practice field tomorrow or no?
He is yet to practice. He won't. Okay, he won't have. The Eagles won't have one until Wednesday, and he has to report no symptoms Thursday.
Yeah, we got the schedule.
Okay.
So they have a practice tomorrow at 2:10, and then they practice again on Thursday at 2:15. So I would assume tomorrow at 2 o'clock, we're going to get word that Jalen Hurts is back on the practice field. But I understand people who have concerns.
Well, let's get back to concussion protocol usually is a lot shorter than this. No, when you can clear it.
Well, everybody's different, but on average, yeah.
Unless it's a little more serious.
Well, that's
All
the $1 million
I got to be honest with you. I'm worried. And we're going to talk about this. And we're going to do a lot of other things today, including we're going to play the game Gimme 3, but with the playoff teams. So we got a lot of stuff to go over with the playoffs, who's going to win, the second-round matchups, all that stuff. And we're going to play Gimme 3. In other words, I'm going to give you the franchise. You got to give me 3 football players who have played for that franchise. However, the caveat is you can't use the same person twice.
For the whole show.
For the whole show. So you got to really use your brain and go down the line and the list of players that have played for that.
Can you use the same person twice if it's different teams? Or are they completely eliminated?
Completely eliminated.
This isn't going to be easy.
It's not easy. Here's how you get in. 610-632-0975. Are you worried that Jalen Hurts won't play against the Packers? We're back after this.
Tyrone Johnson.
How many teams in the NFL could sit out 5 guys and still have a passable offensive line? Well, the Eagles did that.
Mike Missanelli is a little worried today. Mike Missanelli has a bottomless stomach, a pit right now, and you're not worried at all. Ray, are you worried?
No.
Not worried either. All right, so explain to me why I'm worried. Because I look at, like, he has yet to participate in a full practice. Why wouldn't they have allowed him to participate in a full practice last week if he was fine? And this way they would have known earlier. Why is it being pushed to the last minute? You're telling me just because of the simple fact that they want to kind of confuse the Packers? Is that what you're saying?
It's the only thing that I can think of as to why Sirianni's being so tight-lipped, outside of your concern, which is they're being tight-lipped because there's a chance he doesn't play. Everyone that I've spoken to, even our own Andrew DeCecco, who's the beat reporter here that's in the locker room all the time, has said it doesn't feel like there's any concern that Hurts isn't going to play. So I think he's going to suit up. I think he's going to be fine. The question then becomes, well, how rusty is he, having not practiced for 2 weeks? Now, that's a whole other question. That's a whole other concern. I don't know. I'm just getting the feeling that they're doing this as maybe they went over the top in precautionary last week. You didn't want to put him on the practice field just in case he had any setbacks.
What would have been a setback? Like, what would he have possibly done that would have caused a setback? He wasn't going to get hit.
Well, look, I think the more we learn about concussions, clearly the longer you rest, the longer you avoid certain activities, I think the best chance of recovery. So why rush him back last week? Why try to get him on the practice field? Because then if for some reason going through that physical activity, he has recurring symptoms of the concussion, now you got more problems.
What did you say before you said that? What's the main concern for you? Rust. Well, wouldn't rust have rubbed off a little bit if they had put him in a practice situation? Would that not have helped?
It would have, but I guess when you're weighing the risk-reward.
Well, all right, you would have weighed the risk-reward for me.
So
you're worried about the rust.
Yeah.
I'm worried about the actual concussion.
And what I'm saying is I'd rather them err on the side of caution. I knew he wasn't going to play last week. Why rush him through the protocol? I'll rather him be 100% healthy and maybe a little bit rusty than what the alternative would be is he has an aggravation and now he can't play. You rushed him onto the practice field. He has a setback. Now he's got to start back over in the protocol, and now there's a real chance he misses the game. So for me, the risk-reward was I'll worry about the rust as long as he's healthy.
All right. Listen, I'm still a little plussed by this.
What's that word?
Plussed. It's the opposite of nonplussed, which means I'm not worried. I'm plussed.
See, I'm very gruntled.
Very grumpled.
We figured out that the opposite of disgruntled is gruntled.
Okay.
So I'm very happy.
All right. So listen, there's speculation because there's a hot take column that's out there that says if he doesn't play and they lose to the Packers, how does this affect Sirianni?
Yeah.
Like, do you believe that they should still be able to win without Jalen Hurts? Therefore, if they lose without Jalen Hurts, does the coach have to take the hit?
No. Even if they lose with Jalen Hurts, I don't think that the coach would take any sort of hit. What we just witnessed could arguably be one of the best regular seasons we've seen in franchise history. And that's not an exaggeration. You went 14-3. You set a franchise record with 10 straight wins. You battled adversity. You had different things. You had a new offensive coordinator, new defensive coordinator. You had a tough schedule. The fact that they were able to come out of it 14-3, the coach is more than safe. In fact, they better get him the extension no matter what happens in the playoffs. He gets his extension. You don't bring him back as a lame duck coach next year. So, again, I don't have the concern Hurts isn't going to play, but of course, if Hurts doesn't play and this team somehow loses, no way that comes back on Nick.
Let me, I'm looking at this NFL.com column by Jeffrey, how do you pronounce that? Chadia? Jeffrey Chadia. And he's got the teams ranked most likely to win the Super Bowl, ranking all the playoff contenders. He's got number 1, the Buffalo Bills. Number 2, the Philadelphia Eagles. So by that measure, they should meet in New Orleans for the Super Bowl.
And I'd get my wish, man. That's what I want.
And so I'll ask the question again. If they don't, and they're ranked that highly, and they lose at home to the Packers, the coach would not be under any fire.
Yeah, I don't see how the coach – look, could we be frustrated? Absolutely. Would there be questions asked as to what happened when you had such a good team with such a good roster? Of course. But to figure out, we're thinking about moving on to the head coach after a magical season, after 4 straight playoff appearances, after setting all types of franchise records this year, that would be, once again, a knee-jerk overreaction. Just like I felt like last year would have been a knee-jerk overreaction.
Would not be the first coach, though, to get snipped because you couldn't get over the top. Like, there's one thing getting to the top, there's one thing getting over the top. Coaches have been snipped in the past for that.
They have. But, see, there's another factor in this as well. Now, I don't think he's going to get a head coaching job, but the New Orleans Saints made a request to interview Kellen Moore. Mm-hmm. So if he's actually gets a head coaching job and leaves, do you really want to go through that much change where you're getting rid of your coach, you're getting rid of your offensive coordinator? I'm assuming Fangio would.
Well, let me then put it another way. If they lose to the Packers and Lurie makes that value judgment in his head that he would be better off keeping Kellen Moore as the head coach so as not to lose him, then what?
I don't think that, as good as the offense was this year, I don't look at Kellen Moore and Nick Sirianni and say, yeah, I'd rather have Kellen than Nick.
All right. 610-632-0975. Got a lot of calls on the line. We'll get to everybody. We'll get to our text board, and we're going to play Gimme 3 today with the people. I'm going into the playoff football cities. You got to give me 3 if I spring a city on you. Mike Missanelli Show continues.
Fanatic Sports Update.
Rematch of the opener. I'm Ray Dunn with this Fanatic Sports Update. The Eagles get set for a rematch of the season opener down there in Brazil as they prepare to play the Packers. Nick Sirianni met with the media on Monday, talked about how despite the fact the Eagles won that game, this Packers team is different from the one they played in the opener.
From game 1 to game 18, everyone's a different team. Now, obviously, there's things that are staples that have been good for them that remain the same, but, there's a lot of changes and a lot of differences.
Packers will be the opponent Sunday at 4:30 at Lincoln Financial Field. Eagles return to the practice field tomorrow. We hope to get an update on Jalen Hurts' return from concussion protocol after Sirianni said he had no new information on Monday. Elsewhere, Joel Embiid missed last night's game as the 76ers fell 109-99 to the Suns, and the Flyers return to the ice tonight against the Toronto Maple Leafs at 7 o'clock. You can hear the game right here on 97.5 The Fanatic. This update is brought to you by Cordell & Cordell. Cordell & Cordell, a domestic litigation firm, is a partner you can count on. Call 866-323-7529 or visit CordellCordell.com. I'm Ray Dunn in the home of the 76ers and the Flyers. 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
Ricky Vitalico.
This offense.
Mike Missanelli Show, 97.5, The Fanatic. Big playoff game coming up. We're going to project who's going to go through the playoffs. I think there could be 2 upsets in the first round of the playoffs. But now that I'm thinking, if the quarterback here doesn't play, it could be 3. I don't know. Give me 3. Give me 3. I'll give you 3.
He's going to play.
All right?
And you got maybe a shoebox game this week.
I love the Rams in this game. I love them.
And that's
getting a point and a half. That tells me all I need to know.
That's the Monday night game, right?
Is it?
Yeah, it's the Monday night game.
I have to wait till Monday?
You would. You'd have to wait till Monday. And if the Bucks beat the Commanders, we'll all be waiting until Monday to find out who the Eagles' opponent is.
Somebody asked me, I think it was Mr. Kincade. Both of them did. They asked me, what would I rather have if I had to take a choice? Penn State to win the national championship or the Eagles to win the Super Bowl? And what was my answer? Because I'm a man of the people.
Well, I think you're lying, but you said the Super Bowl.
I'm absolutely not lying.
I don't believe it.
I am not
Ray,
lying.
We got to get a lie detector
I
in.
want something that is tremendous. Listen, I live here, right? I went to college at Penn State, even though they're kind of my heart. There's no way that with a straight face that I could say I'd rather have Penn State win the national championship than the Eagles win the Super Bowl for all the joy it would bring people here.
Nah, I believe you. I believe you. I don't even think it's close. Now, it's easy for us, but.
Now, it's easy for me to say because I don't think Penn State has any chance to win the national championship. All right, if you want to know the truth.
There we go.
You see, this proves that I am an objective fan.
They have a shot. I mean, they certainly have a shot against Notre Dame.
They don't have a shot.
You just don't think they have a shot if they get
They're
there.
actually going to, I think, lose to Notre Dame. But, hey, I said it. There it is. All you Notre Dame people, get your nose in a little twinkle. I think that your squad might beat Penn State. All right, let's go to the phones. We'll talk to Ish in Levittown. Ish, you're on 97.5, The Fanatic. Ish.
Yeah.
What's up, Ish?
Hey, I agree with you on the first and second, but I also got to call you out a little bit. But the first point is, I actually see Jalen Hurts front. We haven't seen him practice, and concussions are different. I heard he was in the walkthrough, but not practicing for 2 straight weeks is kind of suspicious.
Walkthrough, he said.
Oh, walkthrough.
Walkthrough. No, yeah.
Okay,
He was at a walkthrough, yeah.
Okay.
And I agree with you on that. I don't know what's going on. Is he going to play? I think we'll find out more Thursday. Second point is the Nick Foles. The coach. I don't think we should be able to. I think at this point Nick Sirianni is the coach of the Eagles. I think we just got to worry about losing our coordinators. And the third thing, I do want to give me 3, but I have never heard you call out James Franklin before, and I don't know the reason why.
You've never heard me call out James Franklin. How long have you been listening to me?
I've been listening to you for years.
He calls him out a lot.
You got to be kidding me with that statement, Ish. Is this a joke call? Come on.
No.
Come on, Ish. The only thing I've said is he's going nowhere because Penn State administration loves him. They love him. He's not going anywhere. It's futile to say that they're going to move on from James Franklin. That doesn't mean I like him.
But you criticize Nick Sirianni more than James Franklin.
Where do you get off saying that, dude? Seriously. You're just a flat-out lie.
Yeah, Ish, I'm usually with you, man. I mean, I think part of it is you didn't let him do 3.
Come on.
Here's what the part of it is.
Misinterpret me that much? Get out of here.
Well, Mike, we're a Philadelphia sports radio station.
Yeah.
So, of course, we're going to talk more about the Eagles and Nick Sirianni than you would if you were doing a Penn State podcast. If you were doing a Penn State football podcast, you would be ripping Franklin more.
How many times have I pointed out his record against top 10 teams, top 5 teams? I point it out all the time. And the only thing I can tell you is the people that think they're going to zip him you're not realistic. Because I know the inside of it. I know how much they love the guy there because he runs a clean program. He says the right things. He has fleeced people into thinking he's a better recruiter than Ohio State, which he is not. And I've been complaining about that for years. Come on, man. Come on.
I feel bad.
If you're going to
I feel
listen
bad
to
for
me,
Ish.
listen to me.
I feel
Ish.
bad Ish didn't get to play. Give me 3.
I don't feel bad at all. Greg in Orland, you're on 97.5 The Fanatic. Greg.
Be right back. Hey, what's going on, guys?
What's going on, Greg?
Just wanted to call and say, Mike, first of all, your worry should be unfounded. I mean, it's the Packers. Jordan Love's coming off an injury. They just lost their best wide receiver, and we still
He's
have
not their
Saquon
best
Barkley.
wide receiver. He had wide receiver.
21.9. Yeah, okay, so they lost that. So they have that gone. I'm not concerned, even if Hurts doesn't play. I think Pickett or Tanner McKee could just hand the ball off to Saquon. I mean, it's what you've done all
You are
season.
absolutely out of your mind.
No, I'm not out of my mind.
To think that the Eagles are going to win that game without Jalen Hurts. You are
I think they
delusional. Delusional, Greg.
Yeah, Greg, I gotta be with Mike on this, man. But one, I'm not worried that Hurts doesn't play. But if for some
I'm
crazy
not
reason
worried that
he
Hurts doesn't play either. I mean, it's all angst for the sake of angst.
What do you think? This is some Pop Warner team coming in to play the Eagles? You think the Green Bay Packers are not good enough to beat the Eagles with a quarterback like that? That they wouldn't scheme it up?
Him out.
Come on, man. They would scheme up their defense to the point where those guys wouldn't even be able to breathe. Both of them are mobile.
What would the scheme be? Stop Saquon?
Well, yeah, okay. Saquon can't carry the ball 50 times. They're gonna have to.
You're telling me if Devontae and Brown are 1-on-1 against Packers, who have also lost their best cornerback, that they're not going to.
Let me say this clearly so you can get it. You are delusional to think that Kenny Pickett or Tanner McKee is going to beat the Green Bay Packers.
I'm just optimistic. I'm not delusional.
You're delusional, not optimistic.
And I want to be optimistic about Thursday night's game, Mike. I know you're a big Penn State fan like me. Do they have any chance beating the Shamers?
Of course they have a chance, but I just think that Notre Dame might be a little stronger defensively, and the lack of pure, potent wide receivers from Penn State is going to hurt them.
Yeah, that is a big thing. Why do we never get wide receivers?
I don't.
Can't seem to get it.
Next year to get
Ohio State gets them all.
Yeah, I know. Greg, here, let's play Give Me 3 with you. I feel bad calling you delusional. All right, if I give you the Buffalo Bills, give me 3.
3 what?
3 players from the Buffalo Bills that are not currently on the roster. Like in the recess, when you think Buffalo Bills, the first 3 players that come to your head.
Let's say O.J. Simpson. O.J. Simpson. The wide receiver Andre Reed, and I got to think of a third, and Beebe.
Oh, look at that!
How about that?
Little Don Beebe action.
Don Beebe. That's pretty good. OJ.
What's the first thing you think of when you hear Don Beebe? There's a play in mind that I will never forget. I believe it happened.
Is that where he chased down Trent? What's his name? Lott?
Yes, on the Cowboys.
Yeah.
The guy was taunting going into the end zone. That's the same play I think of.
That's not Trent Lott. He's a politician.
No, it was...
what's something Lott? What's Lott's first name?
Yeah, what was that? Was it Andre Lott? No. Hold on. I'm going to find it. Leon Lett. Leon Lett.
Lott. No,
yeah,
Lott.
Leon Lett.
Leon Lett. I said Trent Lott. He's a politician.
But that's the same play I think of.
Okay, so Reed, the wide receiver. That should be a kindred of yours.
It should be a what?
A kindred spirit of yours.
Why is that?
Where did he play in college?
Was he a decent guy?
Went to Kutztown, brother.
I didn't know. I mean, I know who Andre Reed is. I didn't realize he was a Kutztown
Reed
guy.
went to Kutztown.
Oh, he's from Allentown.
There you go.
Look at that.
I would think that you would have a poster of him and little Bill growing up with a Division III hero.
Do you think that I have enough room on my walls?
Division II? Is that Division II, Kutztown?
I think it's Division II.
You think I have room?
Division II? So wait a minute. Gettysburg doesn't play Kutztown?
No, we didn't play Kutztown.
Really? Who'd you play?
We played Johns Hopkins.
Our kids?
Yeah, but they had a good football team every year.
Really?
They're usually ranked nationally. Yeah, they usually have a good team.
It was in your league. Harcum Junior College?
No, we were the Centennial Conference. So you got Johns Hopkins, Ursinus,
Phoenix University,
Muhlenberg, McDaniel.
What is that? Southern New Hampshire University? Did you to play them?
No, we did not.
All right, 610-632-0975 is how you get into the Mike Missanelli Show. Back at you.
Andrew DeCecco.
When you look at what the Eagles have, they are the top defense in the NFL. They have a very prolific rushing attack.
Mike Missanelli Show, 97.5 The Fanatic. All right, Bill Colarulo has dug into the concussion protocol. And after I heard it, I got even more worried. Okay, so Bill, I would like to go through, for the people, the steps that are required to pass through the concussion protocol.
All right, so this is right from the NFL.com website. I am not a doctor, let me preface that, but these are the 5 phases on the NFL.com website. Phase 1, symptom-limited activity. So that's just resting, limiting anything. I'm sure that was okay. Phase 2, aerobic exercise. Under the direct oversight of the team's medical staff, the player should begin graduated cardiovascular exercise. So I'm sure he's done that, I would assume. But here's where the concerns start to come into play for Mike. Phase 3, football-specific exercise. And it says for Phase 3 that the player is allowed to practice with the team in sport-specific exercise for 30 minutes or less with ongoing and careful monitoring. Now, I don't believe that the media was down there every day, but I have not seen any reports that Jalen Hurts practiced with the team for 30 minutes.
So in other words, last week he was not even ready to do that.
Based off of reports. So that would be Phase 3.
Okay.
Once he does 30 minutes with the team, he can then graduate to Phase 4, which is non-contact training drills. So he can do football activities, throw, catch, run, and other position-specific activities.
Has he done that?
We don't know. Then, if he does that...
why wouldn't we know if he had done that?
Because it's not open to media for the entire practice?
Yeah, and Sirianni hasn't told us. So we don't know if he's done the 30 minutes or less of practice in Phase 3.
You mean to tell me that would not have slipped out to anybody who covers the team or the league? The way information flows out of here, no one would even find out that he did 30 minutes of football activity.
It's a little worse.
All right, go ahead.
Because after Phase 3, which would be the 30 minutes or less, then Phase 4, which is position-specific activities, he then would have to do Phase 5, which is the full practice. And if there's no symptoms following a full practice, he's cleared. So we don't know which number he's in right now. Did he have the 30 minutes of practice? Did he do quarterback drills? We know he hasn't fully practiced. That's, I think, a guarantee because he hasn't been cleared yet. So this makes you more concerned.
Okay. So maybe I just don't understand how coaches operate. Is Sirianni tight-lipped about this because he has not done any of that you just mentioned except the first 2?
It's anybody's guess, man. That's the problem. He has not, and when he was asked at his press conferences, Sirianni's gotten irritated with the question.
Exactly, he's gotten irritated, which tells me he's worried.
Or he looks at it as, you don't know, but we did do 30 minutes. You don't know, but he did do some quarterback drills.
So what would be the advantage of him not saying that? What you're telling me just to confuse the preparation?
Yeah, now you're making me nervous. I got to reach out to some people.
Listen.
So we're getting John Kincade just weighed in. He's saying that Jalen Hurts did go through the walkthrough on Saturday. He was completely present for the walkthrough, and he did participate on some of the activities. So then that would mean he passed Phase 3, I would assume? Or would that be considered Phase 3?
All right, listen. I don't want to cry wolf here. I'm crying coyote. That's a little lesser than wolf.
I'm going to get to the bottom of this before the end of the show. Because now you're starting to get me nervous. I wasn't nervous coming in, Ray. See what Mike's doing? He's getting us anxious. My anxiety's up now.
I'm like, sometimes we don't pay attention. Sometimes this passes over us without us stopping to grab it as it passes over us. And I think we're in this mode now where everybody is assuming that thing's going to be fine. The quarterback's going to be fine. And everybody's tight-lipped about it. I've been around the block. When people are tight-lipped about stuff, there's usually something there. And I hope I'm wrong, because I'm telling you they don't beat the Packers without him. Greg in Bethlehem, you're on 97.5 The Fanatic. Greg.
Gentlemen, I think the thing with Hurts is Sirianni playing games with competitive advantage. I think he's going to have a full on Wednesday and be cleared. But I think that that argument is sort of supported by the fact that if they really felt last week that Hurts was not going to be available this coming week, they would have played the starters with McKee, so they had some familiarity, and they didn't do that.
Yeah, but that puts everybody else at risk. There was no reason to do that.
Well, but if they have to play together next week...
Yeah, there's still no reason to do it. Because if they had to play together, it would be an emergency situation anyway. There's no sense putting your starters at risk for that kind of speculative situation.
Well, I don't know how speculative it is. You know, it's hard to say. I just think it could be a reflection of the Eagles' concern about Hurts' status.
Yeah, I don't think it is. Because I'm deep in our mind, they're thinking he's going to be ready. The more time we give him, he's going to be ready. There's no need for us then to play our other starters in case he's not ready. That wouldn't make any sense.
Well, I agree. I mean, I agree. I just think had they done that, it would be a sure sign that Hurts was going to be questionable.
Well, again, they wouldn't want to give anybody a sign that he's questionable. Sean in Swedesboro, you're on 97.5 The Fanatic. Sean.
Thanks, Mike. Now you got me worried, man. I'm shaking in my shoes. Who's going to start the game if he ain't going to go?
Well, Kenny Pickett's going to start the game.
Is Kenny Pickett ready?
Well, is any backup ready?
Well, he's talking about the ribs. Because Pickett's got the rib
ribs?
injury.
Yeah, I don't know. They wouldn't start Tanner McKee in a game like that.
I mean, if they're one and done, and I honestly don't think it's possible that Nick Sirianni loses his job. I don't think it's impossible, but it's very highly unlikely. But, like, this is bad. I think it's a tight lip. When I see him on the news saying he can't talk about it, do we see anything on that website about the fact that he's not allowed to talk about it?
No.
That's what he's saying. I'm not allowed to talk about it.
He could very easily say, we believe he's progressing nicely and he'll be ready to play. He could say that.
Yeah.
He could say that. He could ease people's mind by saying that.
Yeah, but I'm not sure with concussions if they're even allowed to comment on it. Concussions are weird.
Find that out. Come on, man. Colorillo. Find that out now.
Look, he's worried.
Guys.
Hey, Sean, listen, I didn't mean to alarm you. I have to discuss legitimate concerns here, and I'm skeptical enough to say this is weird. You know, this is very strange that this whole thing is now it's got to come down to Thursday where we know if he's going to play or not. You know what I'm saying?
What about Saquon? If they're one and done, everybody's going to say, well, Saquon should have won the record.
Well, that ship has sailed already.
Yeah, we're not bringing that back.
Like I say, I'm not crying wolf and coyote.
Yeah.
All right, so don't take it seriously. Now let's play Gimme 3. I want to play Gimme 3 with you.
Okay.
All right, I'm going to give you a playoff team, a playoff-bound team here. First three players that pop into your head. Kansas City Chiefs. Hello? Kansas City Chiefs.
They can't be on the roster now.
No, Kansas City Chiefs. Three players. First three players.
Kevin Ross.
Kevin Ross from Temple University.
From Paulsboro, New Jersey.
There you go.
I can't really think.
I don't believe it. These people
hit the buzzer.
We're stumping them. We're stumping them with Gimme 3.
Oh, that was an easy.
Come on, man. The Chiefs.
That was an easy
Where
one.
are you going to go, Bill?
You want me to give some?
Go ahead. Give me two more. He got Kevin Ross.
Joe Montana. Marcus Allen.
No, Joe Montana.
Yo.
Are you kidding me to give me Joe Montana?
You're damn right.
Get out of here. You get the Ziggy for that.
He was on the cover of my Montana football for Sega Genesis in a Chiefs jersey wearing number 19.
He wanted Alex Smith. That was the answer he was looking for.
Joe Montana.
J.J. Burden. Tony Gonzalez.
Oh, Tony Gonzalez. J.J. Burden.
That was the wide receiver he threw to on that team.
Man. 610-632-0975. Back after this.
Fanatic Sports Update.
Rematch of the opener. I'm Ray. This update is brought to you by Primo Hoagies. Bring friends and family together for the playoffs with the Primo Perfect Spread from Primo Hoagies. Order delicious catering trays, samplers, platters, and sides at order.primohoagies.com. The Eagles getting set for a rematch of the season opener in Brazil as they prepare to play the Packers in the postseason opener. Nick Sirianni met with the media on Monday, talked about how despite the fact the Eagles won that game, the Packers are a different team.
From game 1 to game 18, everyone's a different team. Now, obviously, there's things that are staples that have been good for them that remain the same, but, there's a lot of changes and a lot of differences.
Different team or not, Packers will be the opponent on Sunday at 4:30 at Lincoln Financial Field. The Eagles return to the practice field tomorrow, where we'll get an update on Jalen Hurts and his return from concussion protocol after Sirianni said he had no new information on Monday. Elsewhere, Joel Embiid missed last night's games. The 76ers fell 109-99 to the Suns. Flyers return to action tonight against the Toronto Maple Leafs at 7 o'clock. You can hear the game right here on 97.5 The Fanatic. This update's also brought to you by Ace Hardware Home Services. Got a leaky pipe, having issues with your heat? At Ace Hardware Home Services, they're around the block with everything you need to fix it. They've got the pros to keep your home humming all year long. Ace Hardware Home Services. I'm Ray Dunn, the home of the 76ers and the Flyers. 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
The playoffs are here. Philadelphia plays Green Bay in the wild card round this week.
There are things that sometimes pass over our heads, and we don't reach up to grab them to talk about them. This happens to be one of them. This just didn't dawn on me. This has been coming to me. And so I wake up today and I go, huh. Seriously. I read this. The Eagles quarterback Jalen Hurts is progressing through a return to participation concussion protocol, according to Coach Nick Sirianni, who parroted on Sunday his update from Friday. He is yet to participate in a full practice, and the Eagles won't have one until Wednesday, and he has to report no symptoms Thursday. The good news, he has progressed to some degree. Where? What does that mean, progress to some degree? So, it's flying over my head, and I just took the time to snatch it out of the air and bring it to a discussion point here. Now, the other thing I want to snatch out of the air that no one talks about, has nothing to do with what we're talking about with the football playoffs, is that Joel Embiid didn't play again last night. Now, we don't even have any reaction anymore to this. He had a day rest after he played. That's a home game against the Phoenix Suns, and he doesn't play again. And it flies over our head, and we don't take the time to snatch it. Well, I just snatched that one, too.
Well, at least Paul George looked really good last night. 5 of 18 from the field. I don't know what happened to Paul George. I mean, you and I talked off air about it. You think he's hit a wall.
What did I say I acquired him? Were you here?
Yes.
Okay, what did I say when they acquired him?
You were concerned about his age.
He's 34 years old.
And he looks 34.
He does. He's clearly not the same player. This is just our Sixers moment.
Drummond didn't play either.
Excuse me this is not a topic that's going to be prevalent today, the 76ers. But I just don't want to get to a point where I just don't pay attention anymore. Right? And the fact that Embiid didn't play last night, it's like, nobody even blinks anymore about this kind of stuff.
Nobody cares, unfortunately. This is what happened.
I don't know if they care or they've been convinced that it's the best thing because playoffs are the only thing that count. I noticed these little things. He had a rest. He had a rest day. He can't play a home game against the Phoenix Suns. Why? All right. Maybe it's me, man. I swear, I'm out of whack.
But the other thing that you're concerned about with the Jalen Hurts, I told you when I got here I wasn't concerned at all. Mm-hmm. Well, now you're raising my level of concern. So I'm doing some Google searches here during the break. Mm-hmm. The Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel. Now, this is the Green Bay Packers newspaper getting their fans ready. Mm-hmm. With Eagles quarterback Jalen Hurts still in concussion protocol, who will play against the Packers? So, this is even a topic of discussion in Green Bay right now.
Well, yeah, because we've been talking about the fact that Love left the game with the Bears with the elbow thing, and he couldn't throw, and he didn't come back into the game. That's the general conversation of it. I don't know if I'm taking the guy from Milwaukee's concern and applying it to me.
Well, there's more on this thing. He cites a tweet from Mike Garafolo from the NFL Network. Don't expect Nick Sirianni to shed much light on Jalen Hurts' status this week, certainly as long as Hurts remains in the concussion protocol. That's how the Eagles coach rolls with most injuries. And then he throws it at the end, but Hurts should be good to go. Okay. And that's kind of how I've been approaching this.
All
he
right.
should be good.
I hope he should be good to go. I hope. You are listening to the Mike Missanelli Show at WPEN HD, Burlington, Philadelphia, a Beasley Media Group station broadcasting live in the Comcast Business Studios, powering possibilities. We are into the 11 o'clock hour. 610-632-0975. Let's start off the 11 o'clock hour by going to our text board and see if the people are responding against or for my position on this.
A lot of people, in terms of the Hurts concern, it's there, but there's not anyone that's given us anything really strong, aside from someone suggesting that they need a Tanner McKee statue because they want to see Tanner McKee beat the Packers, then have you be forced to praise him.
Yeah, let me tell you something. Why don't you go drop acid? You'll get the same effect. That Tanner McKee can beat the Packers. That's how delusional you would be.
Disclaimer, we do not recommend dropping acid on the Mike Missanelli Show.
No, of course not. But stop it.
We got one text here from New Jersey. I'm thinking they're keeping him out so he doesn't have to be available for the media. He calls it rat poison. He's playing. Which is a wild way to look at that.
There you go.
Yeah.
It's the media, the big bad media. Keep away from him.
Shane from Knoxville. Tanner McKee would beat the Packers. Green Bay doesn't want any part of this Eagles defense at the link.
Yeah, those are the ones I can't get behind. I'm okay saying that I'm confident Jalen will play. I think this is not going to be a big deal. But to say McKee would win this game, that's a stretch for me. You need Jalen in this football game.
Another person checking in with the fact that they would beat the Packers without Hurts. To say we can't win without Hurts is ridiculous. Have some faith in your team.
Oh, my God.
To call one of your callers delusional for being optimistic is beyond my comprehension.
What do I do here? Do I play games or do I give you the truth? Okay? What do you want me to go along with this crazy notion that Tanner McKee somehow in a playoff game, after playing one frickin' game his whole life in the NFL, is going to come into a cauldron of a playoff game and beat the Green Bay Packers like there's some scrub team coming into town? And that's not being optimistic. I'm supposed to be some idiot fan who thinks that?
Yeah, look, I don't even want to entertain the discussion of Tanner McKee, but let me just give you this. The Packers' defense is top 8 in sacks, so they'd be all over McKee. They're top 3 in yards per carry against with regard to their rushing defense. And they're 13th in the NFL in passing yards. So they would come out and they would try to just shut down Saquon. I don't have confidence that Tanner McKee is going to be able to beat that defense as a third-string quarterback who has one NFL start under his belt.
I can't believe it. You were praising him to high heaven.
I am.
After the Giants game.
I am, but to say he's going to come in here in a do-or-die situation and win this game. But again, you keep suckering me in. Hurts is playing. Hurts is playing in this damn game. I'm not worried about it.
One texter bringing up the fact that Hurts also had the finger injury, which they believe that they also could be holding him out of practice due to that.
And before, when he had the finger injury.
It's on his non-throwing hand. See, now somebody else just threw another concern at me, Mike. In
What's
addition
that?
to this, now I'm nervous about this. On Instagram, Gregory says, Bill, did you see the song yesterday? I said, nah, it didn't feel right, saving it for the playoffs. You don't think that that's bad juju going into the playoffs? The song must be sung after every win, even if it was meaningless. Now, we're not going to sing it today, but now I'm worried. I shaved my beard. I didn't sing Sirianni Love. Level of concern. Bill not singing Sirianni Love or Hurts not playing?
Is there a lack of oxygen in that booth? What's happening?
It is amazing that we get we pay more attention to whether you're going to sing a freaking song rather than Jalen Hurts on a concussion protocol. We're not worried about that.
Correct.
But we're worried about you messing up the playoff mojo because you didn't sing the song.
And the best part is...
This is how nuts some fans are.
And, Mike, the best part is that comment is under a video of me talking about Jalen Hurts' concussion. Doesn't comment on the concussion. Comments on you didn't sing Sirianni Love.
The concussion protocol is no big deal, folks. The mojo is really what's important here.
I'll go with that, fan. I'm more concerned, and you know how I feel about you singing. I'm more concerned that I didn't hear Bill singing this week than I am playing on Sunday.
And I think what you're doing here is you're saying that's how little concerned
Correct.
you are about Hurts.
I tell you what you're doing. You're irritating Mike. That's what you're doing.
That's fair. I can do that.
That's what you're doing most of all. We have Sirianni talking about Hurts yesterday. All right, just listen closely how the head coach and how he phrases all this.
Yeah, I have no new information for you guys. Like I said yesterday, he's progressing through the protocol.
Are you able to say if he's in the building today?
I got no new info for you guys here today. I'm sorry.
Oh, what? Oh, come on, Bill. They'll see what?
But listen,
somebody tell me I'm crazy. Just say you're crazy. There's no reason for you to worry.
Look,
Go ahead.
you're an attorney. You know if he answers that question and he says, yeah, Jalen Hurts is here, what's the follow-up question? Well, what is he doing in the building? And then if you start to give a little bit more information, the questions keep coming. So I kind of like that Sirianni's just saying, listen, I got no information for you. Because he can't clear the protocol until he practices. So why give any
I can't
information?
give you any information, but we're really optimistic about Jalen. Bang! How about that?
Or how about...
You can't say that?
How about forcing the Packers to have to at least give some time to game planning for 3 different quarterbacks? Because you also don't know if Kenny Pickett's going to play.
Tell me, you're going to try to do like that happy horse bleep stuff to a professional defensive staff, and it's going to flummox them? Really? We got to prepare for Kenny Pickett. And you think it's that difficult to prepare for two mobile quarterbacks if you're a defensive coordinator?
The one intern just walks in the room. Blitz. All right, I'm done with my report.
Listen, here's what it is. Even if they have to spend 15 minutes discussing the plan, if Jalen Hurts doesn't play in this game, it's still worth not telling the media what's going on with Jalen Hurts.
Oh, yeah, it's really going to buckle them up, those guys. They're going, oh, my God. I had to come in today. I had to prepare Tanner McKee. Oh, my God. Stop. Make it stop. Mike Missanelli show continues.
It's time for Birds Playoff Conversation.
I feel
I don't have to tell you anymore when you hear this song. They're coming. They got a concert in February.
Where at?
I don't know where it is. Somewhere. It's somewhere around.
And what do you do if they're advertising that and they have signs somewhere and you have a kid that reads it.
Well, that would be quite a dilemma. Yeah, I guess you had to cover the kid's eyes, right? I don't know. Anyway, it's the Mike Missanelli Show. And we have a lot of text on Sirianni and his explanation or why he's so tight-lipped about this thing. It has caused me a lot of worry here on a Tuesday. Now, the game's not until Sunday, so I'm probably just barking into the wind here. But I get certain queasy feelings sometimes, and this is giving me a queasy feeling. It's passing over most fans' heads. I don't think anybody's really considered it. It's like foregone conclusion he's going to play, and they're going to win, and they're going to advance into the playoffs, and they're going to wait to the next round opponent at home, and the whole bit. Like, everything's good. But I grab stuff that passes over my head.
Yeah, and you're starting
a
to
fault
raise
of mine.
You're starting to raise my concern level because I had zero concern.
Ray is stoic. He thinks I'm an idiot today.
Totally unmoved.
Yeah, I can tell.
But Ray, I think the reason why you and even me today and fans aren't concerned is because we all knew the starters weren't playing last week against the Giants. If the starters played in that game and that game mattered and Hurts missed it for a concussion, I think people would have a higher level of concern. We're all just assuming they're just holding him out because last week didn't matter. And you know what they say about assuming, Ray?
I'm not really assuming. I'm just listening to the fact that multiple beats have told me not to be concerned.
But what are they
and
basing it on? That's where
there was
Mike's
the clip
getting me.
from post-game from this past weekend of Reuben Frank saying that, I saw him at the facility, no glasses on, can't talk to him because in protocol. But nobody around there seems concerned. Tim McManus was on with us and said no real concern. That's the best I could do from outside the building. People that are in there. Andrew DeCecco's not concerned.
Yeah.
And Sirianni, I think that he keeps repeating this line because remember earlier this season when he tried to talk about Jalen Hurts, who took a rest day, he revealed to us that he was dealing with something that we didn't know he was dealing with. So I think they gave him one line, and he's just been saying in front of a mirror for the last 3 days. I mean, that's Sirianni. I don't know if he's exactly trusted himself to talk about injuries anymore because it seems like every time he tries to open up his mouth to give us anything, he puts his foot in it.
All right. Well, in any event, we'll have the coordinators coming on today. Kellen Moore, who's now mentioned for a interview in New Orleans, and Vic Fangio is not going anywhere. He likes it here. He's not going anywhere.
He's going to finish his career.
So we'll hear what those guys have to say about their preparation against the Packers. This is the time we need to look at that. Let me ask one question before we get back to the phones here. What would you think? How realistic is a Super Bowl appearance for the Eagles right now if Hurts plays?
If Hurts plays?
In this first game.
Very realistic.
What is it? I'm asking for a percentage.
Oh, you want a percentage?
What percentage?
I don't know. Me personally, I would put it greater than % because I think they have a very strong chance of getting to a Super Bowl.
That's such a weak answer.
Well, what do you
Give
want?
me a freaking number.
You want me to do statistics here?
Give me a number. What percentage do you think? I think it's above 50%. Oh, any idiot can say it's above 50%.
Did he just call me an idiot again?
Well,
man?
I'm saying any idiot. I'm not referring directly to you. But, above 50%? Well, yeah. Thank you. Here's a candy bar.
51%. How about that? 51%.
You gotta be kidding me. I got it at like 70.
Do you?
Yes.
If he plays.
If he plays in this game. Now,
Wait a second. Yesterday, you were concerned about the Lions in the NFC Championship game. So how do you put him at 70% if you think they would lose in Detroit?
No, you're right about that. Maybe I'm all right.
Maybe we handicap getting to the NFC Championship.
Now all of a sudden your 51% sounds real.
Yeah, doesn't it? You see this, Mike?
I thought he was going to say you were being too optimistic.
All right. So if Hurts doesn't play, what's the percentage?
Oh, if Hurts doesn't play, getting to the Super Bowl? 5%.
If he doesn't play, because 5% because they're going to lose the first game.
Yeah, I would think if Hurts doesn't play,
I think it's 0. I think it's 0% chance
that they could go without Hurts.
Because I'm already on the record saying they're not going to beat Green Bay with a backup quarterback.
Yeah, you may be right, 0%.
It goes from 51 to 0.
Yeah, I think you're probably right on that.
And I may have to go 49 now that I think about it. If I've got the Lions as a favorite, I've got to have 49% chance that the Eagles will make it to the Super Bowl.
What are you giving the Lions then? 51?
Yeah.
Wow, that's a good number, Ray. Yesterday, I caught him having ADD on me after he ridiculed me. Now I say 51%, he ridicules me again, and now he's using 51%.
You're right. I apologize. guys.
I am blaring off
It's
on
really funny. You asked me a question. Well, if you got the Eagles at 49%, what do you have the Lions? And I go, wait, is there more than 100% that we're evaluating?
No, but there's more than two teams.
I got to subtract.
There's more than two teams.
Oh, okay.
Right? So if you're going to give the Rams a percentage or...
No, I'm not giving the Rams any percentage. It's 51-49 with these two teams. They're going to meet in the NFC title game if Hurts plays in his first game. And if he doesn't, I got it at 0. And I still want to hear from the people who actually think that Kenny Pickett or Tanner McKee can beat the Packers. What would the line be? If they announce Hurts is out, what would the line be?
I think they would become a dog. I think the Eagles become a dog.
They would.
Maybe like a 2.5, 3.5 point dog.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Home dogs at the link.
With a backup quarterback? They were home dogs with Nick Foles.
Maybe it'd be a pick.
Thank you.
Maybe
What thought process I was going.
I get what you're saying now, Ray.
Maybe it would be a pick. Coach John in New Jersey. Coach John, what's up?
Mikey, well, first of all, you're overreacting to the backup quarterback position. Obviously, if he doesn't play, you lose some points. You're still home with the number one defense, so it's not 0% that they would win that game. They would have a shot, and the defense would have to play great. But it's not over if he doesn't play. But he is going to play, so let's just all take a deep breath.
Okay.
He's going to play. Mikey Miss, I don't understand. You're a Penn State guy. I think you're suffering from Franklin derangement syndrome and not giving him enough credit for being a better team than Notre Dame.
If they were a better team, they'd be favored.
Here's a simple way to look at it. Do you agree that both defenses are very good?
Both defenses are very good.
Do you agree that the Penn State offense is much more explosive than the Notre Dame defense?
No, I don't. And here's why.
Come on, Mike.
Explosive also includes wide receivers, right? They have a really good tight end that Notre Dame is going to obviously key on. Their receivers aren't game-breaking type players. So you then would have to match it. Well, what does Notre Dame have on offense? If both defenses are really fast and equal, Penn State has the better quarterback, but the better quarterback in this situation without a dynamic wide receiver kind of evens out, doesn't it?
Well, let's look at the running backs. They have a good running back.
Notre Dame has a really good running back. Penn State has 2 of them. I agree. But you're going to have to put the ball in the air against this kind of defense.
You're going to put the ball in the air, and no one has been able to stop Tyler Warren all season. And Drew Aller, unlike last season where I was at 2 of the game, the Michigan game, the Ohio State game, where he looked like he was a 7th-round draft pick, this season he's actually showed up, and I think he looks much better in the pocket. I think he shows up against Notre Dame. And I'm not just blowing smoke.
I think you're blowing a little. Listen, John, I would love to see Penn State win the game. If they were the better team, they'd be the favorite. They're not. They're not the favorite.
I think they're underestimating Penn State offense against the Notre Dame defense. I think that's where the game is going to be won.
Yeah, I don't think they are. But anyway, let me play Give Me 3 with you since you're Coach John. All right?
Oh, baby.
All right, let's go with the Detroit Lions franchise. First 3 names that pop into your head.
Oh, my gosh. Lem Barney is a friend of mine, so I got to start with Lem Barney, the Reverend, who's one of the best-dressed players in the history of the NFL.
Lem Barney. Oh, my God. That's old school, man.
Favor. How about we go Alex Karras staring at Tom Dempsey, the 63-yard field goal, and laughing?
What is she? Is your calendar in the 50s here or what? All right, go ahead.
And then we'll go Megatron, the great.
Finally, you get somebody in the modern day. You get Megatron. I got Lem Barney and Alex Karras.
I just remember him as an actor.
Alex Karras?
Yeah.
He got suspended by the league, Commissioner Pete Rozelle, for gambling. That was the bane of his career. He was a great player, and he got suspended for a year, I think, for gambling.
Did not know that.
You got to check that out, Bill. 610-632-0975. Offensive and defensive coordinators speak today. We'll let you in on the conversation coming up. Mike Missanelli Show continues.
Fanatic Sports Update.
Rematch of the opener. I'm Ray Dunn with this Fanatic Sports Update. The Eagles again set for a rematch of the season opener in Brazil as they prepare for the Packers. Nick Sirianni met with the media on Monday, talked about how despite the fact the Eagles won that game, the Packers are a different team.
From game 1 to game 18, everyone's a different team. team. Now, obviously, there's things that are staples that have been good for them that remain the same, but, there's a lot of changes and a lot of differences.
Different team or not, Packers will be the opponent on Sunday at 4:30 at Lincoln Financial Field. The Eagles return to the practice field tomorrow, where we hope to get an update on Jalen Hurts as he tries to return from concussion protocol after Sirianni said he had no new information on Monday. Elsewhere, Joel Embiid missed last night's game as the 76ers fell 109-99 to the Suns, and the Flyers return to the ice tonight against the Toronto Maple Leafs at 7 o'clock. You can hear the game right here on 97.5 The Fanatic. This update's also brought to you by Mercedes-Benz. The fully electric EQS sedan from Mercedes-Benz is innovation on a magnificent scale. Available with the epic 50-inch touch-sensitive hyperscreen. Visit mbusa.com/EQS. I'm Ray Dunn on the home of the 76ers and the Flyers, 97.5.
7, Mike Missanelli Show. All right, breaking news. Jags are requesting to interview Kellen Moore. Well, I'll probably be asked about it once we get to him here with the coordinators. Two teams now want to interview Kellen Moore. He's become a hot property. We mused yesterday. How come nobody's requested interview Kellen Moore? But we'll get to him after Vic Fangio, who is at the podium right now.
We state tape with the Packers and saying how long ago it was.
I mean, obviously you look at it, but, you know, teams evolve during the season to certain points. You know, we've evolved, they've evolved, but definitely you look at it.
Along those lines, what are some of the biggest differences you see from that offense recently?
You know, not a lot. They are running the ball very, very well, and they have their play-pass game off of that. They're a big play team. They get a lot of explosives because of the quality of their running game, and it's a really good offense. They do a good job calling it. They keep you off balance, and really good.
Where do you feel like you guys are as a run defense going into this?
It's a good question. We've had good games and not so. We've had in between. We'll be tested this week. These guys run it very, very well.
You don't know which quarterback will play. Obviously, sounds like Love may be able to go. But does the uncertainty actually make it more difficult in terms of preparation?
Not really. I mean, obviously, if Love doesn't go, there's a little bit of change in their offense, but not a gross change.
That first game was a heavier blitz game for you. How much of that was opponent-specific, and how much was you figuring out your own personnel at that time?
Both.
You played, obviously, Bryce Huff and Jordan Davis quite a bit Sunday. As far as Huff's concerned, like, how important was it for him to kind of, like, shake up the cobwebs, the rust, or whatever it was, and how do you think he did?
Yeah, it was real important for him. I mean, the only way you get better playing football is to practice it first and then to play it second in a real game. And it was good to get him a lot of reps. I think he improved a little bit from the 15 or so plays he had the week before, and hopefully he'll improve some more this week.
What's Jordan Love's best attribute?
He's got a big arm. He can throw it to all parts of the field with accuracy and touch. He's got good movement in the pocket. He's elusive. And he really fits their offense. You know, that offense needs a guy that can throw it down the field. He can do that. They need a guy that can scramble a little bit and be elusive. He can do that. He's a perfect fit for their offense.
Any personal gratification going through 17 games, number one defense?
I think it's a good honor for the players. They're the ones that did the work. They deserve it. But, you know, we're on to the playoffs now.
When you think about the contributions you got from Quinyon and Cooper as rookies, what did it take to get that much from them in their first years?
Yeah, they both did a good job. You know, obviously Coop was a little late starting because of his off-season injury. Very happy with both of those guys. They've improved. They've been diligent in their approach. Their thirst to get better has been good. Everything's been good about them.
They think their running game is so effective.
Well, they got a really good line to begin with. You know, I think their 5-0 linemen have been in there for every play, I think. Number one. Number two, they have a great back. Jacobs has had as good a year as anybody. And he's hard to tackle, runs physical. And they have the play-pass game off of it. You know, so they have really good big play receivers that you're always worried about. And the combination of them being to throw it down the field and run it is a tough combination.
With that receiving core, what stands out, even with Christian Watson probably out for that game in the foreseeable future?
They're all good. You know, Dobbs is good. Reed is good. The tight is good. Jacobs gets screens and check downs. You know, it's they spread the ball around a lot. They got a bunch of guys with around 50 receptions or more. It's hard to focus on one guy.
We're talking a lot about, you know, week one seeming like a long time ago. How how far back do you go in your career and what you've seen in prepping for any particular game? Do you go, to something that happened 10 years ago, 20 years ago? And how often do you do that? Does that ever come up any?
10 years ago, 20 years ago? No. Do you go back to previous games? Yeah. But you don't overdo it.
LaFleur made comments years ago praising you as one of the toughest defensive coordinators to face. But you mentioned their play pass, run, setting up the pass, et cetera. What makes him so good at calling his offense?
Yeah, he's got a great knowledge of his offense. He's got a great feel for calling the game, and it's easier for him to do that because the run is never a bad play for those guys. And he has the patience and the mindset to stick with the run and then mix in the play passes. And I think he does a great job calling the game.
A lot of times if a team's got two rookie starting defensive backs, there's going to be concern going to the playoffs. Is the moment too big and all that? With these two guys, do you have any concerns at all? Do they kind of not seem like rookies anymore?
Well, they're not rookies. In Q's case, he's played 16 games, and Coop's played, 14, 12, 13, whatever it is. So, no, I think they're ready. They've played in a lot of big games this season against a lot of quality opponents, and I think they'll be ready.
The Rams are the only other team you've seen that runs motion as much as the Packers do. How does that factor into your preparation this week and the coverage rules for the game?
Yeah, they do a good job with their motion. They use it a lot. They have a variety of different motion types, and we've got to be on our adjustments.
Vic, a lot of teams are starting to interview for head coaching positions. Do you have any desire to be a head coach again?
I'm happy to be here right now.
For Quinnen specifically, what's the biggest thing that stood out to you?
I didn't say.
For Quinnen specifically, what's the biggest thing that stood out to you during his rookie year?
Just that he had the diligence to keep working at it. Never felt like I've arrived and slacked off. Always had a good thirst to get better and to learn, Very good in the meetings. He has extra meetings with Christian. So I never saw him slack off.
Zach Vaughn told us your comment when he made the Pro Bowl.
What's that?
I'm sorry, Zach Vaughn told us your comment when he made the Pro Bowl, which...
What was my comment?
Of the conversations about, I guess, getting time on the edge back in the spring. And in your, I know you're optimistic about Zach, but did you ever anticipate a Pro Bowl caliber season from him?
Well, it's hard to say that, going back to them, but I think you don't put any limits on players. If you put limits on them, you'll get limited production. Take them to the ceiling that they can go to.
What would you say is the biggest change in terms of how you guys defended the run? I mean, in that first game, they got you a few times. I know they new personnel, et cetera, but you've been able to have relative success against stopping the run despite having light boxes. Has that been the main thing? You just been figured out how to do it with the 4-2 front?
Yeah. We've improved as the seasons wore on. I think our guys understand what we need to do and have played it better, although we've had times where we haven't. I just think it's the overall improvement and evolution of the season.
You mentioned Kraft a little bit, Tucker Kraft. He's taken that big step forward, it looks like, this year. When you have that type of tight end, what kind of stress does that put on?
Yeah, it's just another really good weapon amongst all their receivers. And he is a good tight end. He can get down the field, yet he can catch screens and check downs, and really good runner after the catch. They've got a really good quality skill position group that's backed up by a really good offensive line. And they're all excelling right now.
Thank you.
All right, there you go. That's Vic Fangio. Always exciting, but pertinent information. There you go.
Did
He's
you
happy
think?
to be here, by the way.
Happy to be here right now.
Not going anywhere.
Nah, I don't think he's going.
All right, 610-622-0975. Take a break. Hopefully on the other side, Kellen Moore will speak and enlighten the world about the interviews that he's about to go on. Back after this.
Tyrone Johnson.
How many teams in the NFL?
'41, and guess who's at the podium? Offensive coordinator Kellen Moore. Let's get to it.
This time of year, there's head coaching interviews coming up and that kind of thing. How do you balance that side of it with obviously preparing for the game?
Yeah, you don't worry about it too much. Really, the focus on the week, and those things take care of themselves. Obviously, those things only come to teams who usually tend to have success and are doing things well on the field, and so that's where your focus is.
When you look back on this season, because you've gotten a couple interview requests, that means you've had some success. What are you most proud of about this offense as a whole?
It's a really fun group, a really tight group that really works well together, has a lot of fun doing this, and I thought our guys, throughout the season, you're gonna have a lot of different waves of highs and lows, and the way our guys handle those are phenomenal, and the way the games play out, the style that we play, our guys have embraced each other and embraced how we've played.
What stands out about the first matchup between you and Green Bay, and that you look back at it offensively?
Long time ago first. I think both teams evolve, certainly when you play a full season. That's the first one, and now we're into the playoffs. And so a lot has happened since then. So certainly it's something you take account for as far as, we're both on the field at the same time, but a lot of things have changed. Really competitive game. Obviously, they did a phenomenal job. They created turnovers. They did a really good job. We were fortunate to come out of that thing with a win. And so there's a lot of good things that came out of it.
Is there a difference at all when you're game planning for a playoff game instead of a regular season game?
Pretty much the same formula.
Is it a little different, obviously, this week because you're not sure yet of the quarterback, and how much time do you have to devote? Now it seems possibly 3 quarterbacks that could play on Sunday.
Very similar to how we handle most teams. Obviously, there's always circumstances each and every week of different players. Certainly, the quarterback's a very big focus, and certainly should be. But there's other positions we've dealt with this where you're kind of aware of those different variables.
Going back to that first game against Green Bay, did you have an idea of just how Saquon could be in the offense? I mean, I know he carried the ball like 24 times that game and stuff, but did you foresee him being as big and part of the offense as he became?
Certainly, we had big expectations, and certainly we loved everything that Saquon done through the offseason until you get on the field and experience it firsthand. Obviously, there's an element of excitement coming out of that game, just how we performed in the run game. Saquon performed. There's a lot of excitement moving forward.
I know this past game here was mostly backups, but you had a lot of success with under center play action, and that's not something you've done a lot this year. What has made that less prevalent throughout the season when the starters have been on the field?
It's a good question. Every week, just the game plans are going to be focused on tying things together, run game, pass game. Obviously, for them, he did a really good job, and certainly we've done those at other game plans throughout the season, and so we'll just see where it takes us for this week as well.
Communicate with Jalen today about the game.
Yeah, certainly we've all of us have been in continuous conversations. We always are, and so excited about that.
That first matchup, you're going up against a new defensive coordinator. Just curious. Obviously to some degree you're guessing what they're going to do. Just curious how, close you came to what you thought they were going to do and how different they might have been.
We certainly anticipated there was going to be a lot of unknown going into that game. Just with the, watching Boston College and watching other teams around the NFL and projecting what could or could not happen. That's going to happen week one anyways, no matter who you play. Certainly there was a lot of unknown with this one. And certainly as the season has progressed, you see that they evolve just like everyone else. And so certainly when you have a lot more film, you can evaluate that and anticipate a few more things. But just like every team, there's going to be some flavor. There's going to be a little bit of something different going into a playoff game that they'll present us and try and stress us, on our side of it.
Any concern with Jalen, anything about rust with Jalen after not playing for most of 3 games?
No. I think our guys do an excellent process here as far as, you kind of let the medical side take care of their business, and we do our side of it as far as anything we can do to help anticipate this.
And to follow up on Saquon from earlier, you guys have been leaning on the run, not just for more than the Eagles have done recently, but in your career. So week to week, what did you lean on in terms of what answers there were, or was this all a lot kind of a new experience for you?
Certainly, as we've gone through this season, you're going to find formulas that work and try and lean into those and understand that it's not going to match each and every week. But, I think our guys do an excellent job of, being a really physical football team. And, our run game certainly has embraced that. And I think what our guys have done a really good job of is second half, 4-minute style football, grinding games out where we have these long drives late in games. Certainly that's shown up a lot, and those are heavy run situations, and you throw the ball when you have to in those circumstances. And they've done a really nice job there.
If you do get a head coaching job this year, what is something that you've learned from the season with the Eagles that you think will help you going forward?
Just been a great experience here. Obviously, working with Nick, I think what Nick does an excellent job of is leading this team from an emotional and element and leadership element, but also just the game management and how he manages the game, manages it throughout the week. Our situational football, as much time as we invest in that, he does an excellent job with it, and so it's been a really fun process for me.
You mentioned the evolution of their defense, learning a new coordinator. They also had some injuries, the evolution from that, even a trade, but they finished pretty strongly. What
are you most impressed with that defense?
Yeah, it shows they're doing an excellent job from a coaching staff standpoint, but also from a player standpoint of really finding their formula. Everyone's always trying to find formulas that work for them. These guys are doing an excellent job. Obviously they're top in a lot of categories. They're excellent on third downs. They're keeping the ball in front of them. They're doing a really good job from that standpoint. They're doing some good stuff in the run game to kind of stress you a little bit. And so I think they found a really good formula. You can tell they're playing fast. They're playing confident. Their guys are all tied together. You don't see a bunch of mistakes. You can feel it's a really well-coached team.
You played with and coached an all-pro tackle before, so I know you have experience with this, but when you have the players on both ends that you do, how does that allow you to call a game differently?
We feel obviously very fortunate that Lane and Jordan are our tackles. I can't think of a better two-person combination in this league. They're phenomenal. They're phenomenal people. The work that they do, the confidence that they play with, it gives everyone else confidence. And we feel very fortunate to have them. Certainly that they can block some of these premier guys because these are really challenging jobs. They're some of the hardest jobs in all of sports, and they do it each and every week.
When there's a week given off to most of the starters, what's done in the following week to kind of offset not practicing or preparing for a game?
Yeah, I think Nick does an excellent job of really going back to last week. Utilizing last week in so many good ways for those guys to recover, but also get work done and anticipate this next week coming forward. And so I think we got a very similar plan, but a really good plan to attack this thing like any other week.
What's the biggest improvement you've seen out of Jalen from week 1 to now?
I think he's just continued to play really, really confident while protecting the football, certainly. I think he's done a really good job in that situation. And then a lot of the situational football stuff that comes up, I think each and every week, the 2-minute, the handling 4-minute situations, when you're running the football, but you still need to be, we have critical third down passes in those situations. I think he's just done an excellent job of playing out all those situations.
Last week we talked about Saquon being a special teammate. You mentioned the moment with Kenny, how he always wants Kenny to go in there and score. Is there anything else about Saquon as a teammate that stood out to you as well this year?
I just think obviously the way guys gravitate towards him and he embraces his teammates. Obviously, I think what's really cool is how much his regular season that he's got over 2,000 carries or 2,000 yards, but he's really embracing that. This took everyone. And I think that's the cool part of this thing is it's a collective effort, it's a collective accomplishment, and so those guys obviously are kind of ready to turn the page and head into this playoffs and focus on that. So it's been fun.
All right. Can I get one last? Dallas got
bonus.
I forgot to ask about Dallas.
Yes.
Getting him back in the lineup. What does it mean?
So fun to see Dallas out there. He played excellent on Sunday. I thought he did an excellent job. Limited role, but took advantage of a bunch of opportunities. We were fired up to see him out there. Yeah, thanks.
All right, there you go. There's Kellen Moore. Now, I was waiting whether he would be, maybe they thought they could pry some info about Jalen Hurts out of Kellen Moore. The questions weren't really directed that way, but they were, what's it like to prepare 3 quarterbacks? Well, and Jalen part of that probably, Jalen, what did you gather? Anything there?
They are being tight-lipped, man. I'm telling you, I think this is all competitive advantage.
I think they were afraid to ask him pointed questions about Jalen Hurts. Let's take a break. We'll come back and discuss it. Mike Missanelli Show on 97.5 The Fanatic.
Fanatic Sports Update.
Rematch of the opener. I'm Ray Dunn. This update is brought to you by Bet365. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Download the app today. Eagles getting set for a rematch of the season opener down in Brazil as they prepare for the Packers on Wild Card Weekend. Nick Sirianni met with the media on Monday, talked about how despite the fact the Eagles won that opener, the Packers are a different team.
From game 1 to game 18, everyone's a different team. Now, obviously, there's things that are staples that have been good for them that remain the same, but, there's a lot of changes and a lot of differences.
Different team or not, Packers will be on Sunday at 4:30 at Lincoln Financial Field. Eagles return to the practice field tomorrow, where we hope we'll get an update on Jalen Hurts as he returns from concussion protocol after Sirianni said he had no new information on Hurts yesterday. Elsewhere, Joel Embiid missed last night's game as the 76ers fell 109-99 to the Suns. Flyers turn to the ice tonight against Toronto Maple Leafs, 7 o'clock. You can hear the game right here, 97.5 The Fanatic. This update's also brought to you by Cordell & Cordell. Cordell & Cordell, a domestic litigation firm, is a partner you can count on. Call 866-323-7529 or visit CordellCordell.com. I'm Ray Dunn, the home of the 76ers and the Flyers, 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
My edge about Jalen Hurts. And I know people aren't worried, and I apologize for introducing worry into your brains about whether they're going to have the quarterback. Everybody feels certain that he's going to be the starting quarterback, and the Eagles will have no problem, and they'll beat Green Bay at home, and they'll advance to the second round and all that stuff. I'm just a little worried today about this concussion protocol and why it's being held up and why it's taking so long. But don't worry. I advise you not to worry. I'm the worry. I'll take all the worry today, Bill. All right? Don't worry. I know you dug into the concussion protocol. I know you're a little worried, but don't. Just leave it to me.
I woke up this morning feeling fine. I came in here, wasn't worried at all about Jalen Hurts. And now that you've sounded the alarm, I'm getting a little concerned.
Feel comforted here because I'm about to give you a quote by one Tanner McKee. And, they're saying if Hurts and Pickett are unable to go, because Pickett's got the ribs situation, McKee's second career start could take place in the postseason. And the former Stanford QB, known as the Mormon Missile, sent a clear message when asked about his readiness for a potential playoff appearance. Quote, I'll be ready whether I'm the 1, the 2, the 3, the 6, whatever it is.
And why does that make me feel better?
Because he'd be comfortable backing up Ian Book in that situation.
See, I thought Mike was going to say that McKee's response was, Hurts is going to be fine.
No.
That's what I thought you were
I'll be ready whether I'm the 1, the 2, the 3, the 6, whatever it is. He's known as the Mormon Missile.
He is the Mormon Missile. Here's
Speaking of Mormon quarterbacks, how would you rank the top 5 Mormon quarterbacks?
Was Alex Smith Mormon?
Absolutely.
Trying to think of others.
Oh, come on. The number 1 guy, Steve Young.
Steve Young was Mormon?
Yes.
I didn't know that. Maybe I did know that and I forgot it.
Steve Young, Alex Smith, and then it gets tough. And I got to go Mark Wilson from the old Oakland Raiders. And then I got to go to Detmer Brothers.
The Detmer Brothers, absolutely.
Ty and Coy fill out the top 5. Is that a pretty good list? The Mormon Missile's not – he needs a little more playing time to get on that list, the Mormon Missile.
Did all 5 of them play at Brigham Young?
Alex Smith played at Utah.
Utah, so that's still Mormon country.
Yeah.
So, all right.
I don't think you'll find a Mormon starting at Tennessee.
No, probably not.
You know?
Probably not.
I could be wrong about that.
But see, the reason that I'm coming over to be a little bit more nervous, though, with you here.
Why?
Because I see on the YouTube chat, everybody, guys, please stop. He's going to play. And that's kind of how I felt, too. But there is a chance, having not gotten the word he's cleared concussion protocol, there is a chance that he doesn't.
Well, and that's what I am worried about. And we will continue that discussion because I want people on board. It's 12 o'clock, and you're listening to WPEN HD1, Burlington, Philadelphia, Beasley Media Group Station, broadcasting live in the Comcast Business Studios, powering possibilities. Yeah, I'm a little plussed. I am. I got to admit, I think this could have been settled a lot longer ago, and because it's not settled, they still have to go through the parts of this protocol, and then we'll find out Thursday whether he's going to be able to play. If we find out Thursday, then we worry about the rust because he really hasn't taken part in practice, and we'll have only had 1 practice under his belt as we go into Thursday. And they can't win without him. I'm sorry. I know people want to think that the backups, you can pull it off, you're home, the whole bit. I don't think you can win without Jalen Hurts. The way the Green Bay Packers are coached, they're coached very well. I don't think that they would come in here and let a backup quarterback the likes of Kenny Pickett or even Tanner McKee beat them.
Yeah, we agree on that note. If it's the backup, they don't win the game. I mean, there's a chance, obviously, anything's possible. But if it was McKee or Pickett, they don't win this football game. But I just feel good. Ray, can you provide a different voice? Because Mike is making me nervous here. Ray has 0 concerns at all, based off of everything that you've heard from the beat reporters, that there's any chance that Hurts isn't clear.
Yeah, and the end of getting out of protocol is practicing.
So he should be on the practice.
I don't think that, like, if you had told me, hey, this guy didn't practice because they were resting all their starters leading up to last week, yeah, that makes sense. Everyone else was resting. They gave the guy that had a concussion the week before a rest. He didn't practice, therefore he could not complete the protocol. So we wait for them to get to the practice field. Now, if we get to the practice field tomorrow and they're like, nah, no hurts, maybe I'll start singing a different tune. But right now, I'm cool with the tune I got.
All right. But we won't know, I guess, right? According to the concussion protocol that I read from NFL.com, we probably won't know he clears it until after practice tomorrow.
Yes. 610-632-0975. Let's go to Hal. He's been hanging on for a long time. Hal in Naples, Florida. What's up, Hal?
Hey, Mike. What's going on,
How
buddy?
you doing, pal?
Hey, listen. Rest assured, it's 100% posture, man. He's playing. That's a guarantee. I can almost guarantee that.
Well, how can you
And I'll
almost
guarantee
guarantee
a Penn State win because they're going to win in the trenches. They're a tougher team this year. I know Notre Dame's good, but they're going to win it. They're going to beat Notre Dame.
I hope you're right.
And they're going to beat Ohio State in the national championship.
They ain't beating Ohio State.
Absolutely.
Come on, man.
I got it from a good friend of yours and a mutual friend, a childhood friend of yours.
A childhood friend of mine?
Yeah, Bobby D'Elia.
Oh, the Bobby is telling you they're going to beat Ohio State?
I guarantee he played 100%. He said.
Really? All right.
Hey, listen, I got one thing to say. Did you see the thing about Tyreek Hill?
Yes.
Yesterday?
Yep.
Okay. Is this going to be the way of the NBA that all these guys are going to just take themselves off the team and go to other teams when they want?
I don't think it's going to be quite the NBA players, because there's so few of them, can rule the roost if you're a star player. I don't think.
Well, it seems like it's going that way, though.
Well, I mean, Tyreek Hill, they can trade him. That's not a big loss for them.
I mean, they just gave him a big contract this year. That's
somebody will want Tyreek Hill.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, man.
All right.
You got it,
listen,
Hal.
Enjoy all the games this week.
All right, buddy. You too. I love the name Hal.
Remember the movie?
You don't see Hal very much. Isn't that name?
You remember the movie Shallow Hal?
Yeah, Shallow Hal, and
Jack
then
Black?
the famous movie 2000. What was it? 2001: A Space Odyssey.
That's the robot's
Hal.
Hal.
Robot's name's Hal, right?
That's right. That's a good movie.
Yeah, and I knew a kid named Hal. In my on my my apartment floor at Penn State. Hal was the roommate of a guy from Philly named Jules. And Jules was the fast-talking one. Hal never said a word. So Jules would come to the apartment, and I used to hang out with my 3 Italian buddies from New Kensington. And Jules would come in and goes, Scusti, can I borrow a couple of cans of beer for me and my roommate, Hal?
I don't think I've ever known a Hal. And if I did, and you're out there listening, I'm sorry that I forgot you.
Jules would come in and go, hey, can I borrow some milk? And they go, we just have a little milk for Jimmy's coffee over here. Jimmy was one of the guys that lived there. That's perfect. That's all I need. And we take them. I don't know why these things pop into my head. Me and my roommate, Hal.
His mind works in a very interesting way.
I'm totally off. Totally off.
Your mind works in a very interesting way. That's you. By the way, real quick.
What?
The caller brought up Tyreek Hill.
Yeah.
And like clockwork, somebody in YouTube. The Eagles should sign him or trade for him and move Devontae Smith to the slot. We don't need Tyreek Hill here. It's not happening.
But
why don't we need Tyreek Hill here?
Because every good player, we immediately say we want him. You're not. You have other needs.
What's the crime in that?
What is the problem with that?
Stop.
Why
you want that guy in the locker room? A guy that just walked out on his team?
Not my locker room. That's their problem to deal with. I look at it like, can he be a dynamic addition to the team? Yeah.
Stop.
Your boy's got such a strong culture.
Yeah,
what do you mean?
You don't bring in a me guy like that. You don't bring in a me guy like that. You don't. And you, especially at a position you don't need it.
Sounds like you don't think Sirianni could handle it.
Here we go.
That's right. 610-632-0975. All right, here's the deal. We're playing Gimme 3 here. We're going to have some fun now for the rest of the show. I'm going to give you the name of a playoff franchise. You give me the first 3 names that pop into your head. We haven't had much success today with that. It's the Mike Missanelli Show. Back after this.
Andrew Salciunas.
I wake up this morning feeling very confident in saying the Eagles are the team to beat. I feel like
Mike Missanelli Show, 97.5 The Fanatic. It's a Tuesday as we lead up to playoff football. Eagles and Packers, who will be the quarterback? A lot of people are sure that Jalen Hurts. This is just playing possum. This is not giving the Green Bay Packers any kind of advantage or information on who they're going to face. Okay, I'll take that. I'm still a little bit worried today, but we'll get into more of that conversation in a few seconds because right now it is time for Ray Dunn to take over with the news at noon.
There's a whole lot going on in this world. It's time to catch up. Here's the news at noon 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
All right, Ray, I tell you what, let's start the news at noon with some news about Skip Bayless. Can we do that?
Oh, yeah.
I want to hear something about Skip Bayless.
Oh, I got you covered there.
Yeah, go ahead.
Because you knew, as soon as Stephen A. weighed in on this one, I was going to get that for you. Stephen A. on his podcast, in the midst of this clip, he does say he doesn't want to get himself involved. It ended up being probably like 12, 13, maybe 15 minutes of content of him talking about everything going on at Fox Sports. He doesn't want to be involved. But if you want his take on the Skip Bayless accusations, here you go.
That when you see Stephen A. Smith with a subject like this and the name involves Skip Bayless, that's what you want to know about. And here's what I would tell you. I don't know what happened. But just like I said, I've known Jay-Z for 25 years. I can't imagine that. I've known Skip for just as long. I can't imagine it. I can't imagine it. Especially when they brought up the $1.5 million. The Skip Bayless I know has a hard time giving away $15. He's one of the cheapest people I know. That's just me. But that doesn't mean that I have any inside knowledge about any of this. I don't, and I'm not going to get involved. I think it's incredibly dicey and irresponsible for people who don't know to act like they do know. But in the same breath, the person that I've seen that really, really trusts almost no one and doesn't expose himself to anybody, eating the same breakfast and lunch every day. His vice is a diet Mountain Dew, and he doesn't socialize with people. That's the guy I know. So imagining him being in this kind of position is shocking, to say the least. All I could tell you is that it's not the Skip Bayless I know.
So the grand defense for Skip Bayless from Stephen A. Smith is that he is an antisocial cheapskate.
Yeah, which tells me that I believe it more now. Because the antisocial cheapskate is the one that would try to do something sly, on the sneak. That's what that tells me. I think Stephen A's got the complete wrong read on that thing.
It's an interesting analysis by you.
Yeah.
Not that it makes it any better, but he could have been saying it in jest as well, which is still inappropriate. Like, just because it's 1.5 million.
1.5 mil?
Yeah.
Saying that doesn't mean.
I don't think that makes it any better.
No, it doesn't. But what I'm saying is simply because someone's cheap, to say 1.5 million,
it doesn't mean you're going to give away 1.5.
And it doesn't mean you didn't say it. So maybe you're right. Maybe.
Yeah, really. If you're does Stephen A. not know the history of preachers who, on one hand, gave you one impression of what they were, and on the other hand, did the dirty?
The greatest trick the devil ever pulled. Convincing the world he didn't exist, right?
Look at you, man, going to a movie, right? You know what movie he just cited?
Nope.
No? Pretty good movie. So one of your favorites?
Now that I'm saying it, I don't remember the movie.
There you go.
I don't remember where I got it.
Did watch a movie for the first time last night.
The Usual Suspects.
Oh, that's right. Kaiser Sose.
There you go.
There we go.
All right. Let's get you to two dysfunctional organizations. We'll start with the Jaguars. Shad Khan and Trent Baalke had a joint presser yesterday where they're available over Zoom. And this was a question asked right in front of his general manager. And the answer, again, he gave with the general manager on the screen right next to him.
Shad, back to you. I know you noted that if this head coaching candidate was to say, hey, I think the medical needs to be reevaluated, the health and wellness, if they would say, I would like to reevaluate the front office and the general manager, what would your response be?
My response would be, how would you improve it? And then if it is credible, you want to do it, okay?
Right in front of his GM. New head coach wants a new GM? Could be credible. Might do it.
What's this Baalke got over Khan? He's done a miserable job down there. Everybody hates him.
Hey, what's his background?
I don't know why in the world they keep rolling out with him, but hey.
But they got him from San Francisco, so they probably think that because he was there, he knows some things.
All right, next.
All right. Giants had to have the owner come out and talk because, they brought back the two guys nobody wanted to bring back. And I figured, Bill, you would just want to know how he feels about his unit going into this next season.
Did these guys come back on the hot seat now? You guys are going to have number one on the hot seat going forward. So no matter how I answer that question, in your mind, we're going to have to see. I'm going to have to be in a better mood this time next year than I am right now.
John, what is your message to Giants fans who are very frustrated right now?
Nobody's more frustrated and upset than I am. I appreciate the fact that they have hung in there with us. I get your frustration. I feel your pain, but I still believe this is the right decision for us going forward.
How long will it take to improve the product, John?
It better not take too long, Bruce, because I've just about run out of patience.
Just about run out of patience with the guys you brought back for at least another year.
Yeah. Well, he's officially putting them on the hot seat if they didn't feel it already. But I guess they would feel glad that they survived. I don't know. I mean, a situation that's that miserable and broken down. I mean, you just have to make changes.
I know you say
Philly. What would we be saying?
Oh my God, we would lose our minds.
Yeah. Like we lose our minds with Nick Sirianni, who's got a tremendous record, much less that Brian Dable.
Well,
I'm the dumbest coach in the world.
Dable's one thing, and I know Ray says I'm obsessed with Joe Shane, but could you imagine being so bad at your job that you give a quarterback like Daniel Jones that much money, you then double down on it, the owner says, I don't want Saquon signing with Philly. He does. You say, but this is Daniel's year. Daniel Jones doesn't even make it through the whole damn season. You have to cut him. You have to eat the dead cap hit, and you keep your job? Like, I don't understand how you could be on full display of being that bad at your job, and you get another shot.
This is bad. This is very bad.
This Giants thing is really strange with you.
It frustrates me.
Why? Why would you care that much?
Because there are only 32 general managed jobs in the world for the NFL. And you're telling me that this guy deserves to be brought back?
But that's not my question. My question is, why do you care what the Giants do? You have always cared. What is this? What is this closet giant thing with you?
It's a good question.
You have to leave the group chat.
Yeah, maybe
I'm
it's
sorry
because
they're your college buddies. You have to leave the group chat.
I got a lot of friends.
You can't be in that group chat with them. I have family.
The sad thing is, Mary, I got 2 group chats with Giants. I got my college buddies, and I got all these golf buddies that I went to Pinehurst with a few years ago, and they're all Giants fans.
I have blood relation to Giants fans. I don't care this much.
See how I dropped that? We went to Pinehurst.
Yeah, I just want to go right past that.
Pinehurst.
Do you see what I'm rocking today?
My buddies that went to Pinehurst.
I always rub in
the Marion quarter zip.
Did you see Merrill? Merrill on the sidelines against the Giants pregame was rocking his Marion beanie. It's a flex right there. Mike's face. I wish that everyone on the radio could see the way Mike looks at me sometimes.
Was that totally unnecessary? Oh, my group chat, the guys I went to Pinehurst with.
Of course it was.
Well, I'm saving my White Marsh quarter zip for a special day.
That doesn't compete. I'm not again, but the fact you got a name drop Pinehurst is interesting to me.
Well, the group is my text chain is called the Pinehurst guys.
You could have said, these guys that I went to that guy I golf with. You have to go specific with the Pine. You wanted to put that out there.
Yeah, but it's not like Pinehurst is that prestigious. It's a public course.
Yeah, but it's still prestigious. 610-632-0975 is how you get in. Mike Missanelli Show continues.
Fanatic Sports Update.
Rematch of the opener. I'm Ray Dunn. This update is brought to you by Groundworks, your expert for basement waterproofing and foundation repair since 1997. Book your free inspection at groundworks.com. Eagles getting set for a rematch of the season opener down in Brazil as they prepare for the Packers. Nick Sirianni met with the media on Monday. Talks about how, despite the fact the Eagles won that game, Packers are a different team now.
From game 1 to game 18, everyone's a different team. Now, obviously, there's things that are staples that have been good for them that remain the same, but, there's a lot of changes and a lot of differences.
Different team or not, Packers will be the opponent on Sunday at 4:30 at Lincoln Financial Field. Eagles return to the practice field tomorrow. We hope we get some updates on Jalen Hurts and his return from concussion protocol after Sirianni said he had no new information on Monday. Elsewhere, Joel Embiid missed last night's game as the 76ers fell 109-99 to the Suns. Flyers return to the ice tonight against Toronto Maple Leafs at 7 o'clock. You can hear the game right here on 97.5 The Fanatic. This update's also brought to you by Penny. Penny.com. It's open enrollment. Get the lowest cost on high-quality health coverage now through Penny, PA's health insurance marketplace. Deadline to enroll is January 15th at Penny.com. I'm Ray Dunn on the home of the 76ers and the Flyers. 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
No, I just went down to get some coffee a little bit. We have less time to get coffee now, but I think we can pull it off. I think we've managed to be able to track down there and get back within the shorter time breaks that we have, the commercial breaks. If you've noticed, Mike Missanelli show has a little different clock, as we say in the business.
Yeah, lot of short breaks so that you don't have to worry. You keep it here the whole show.
But down there, as I'm getting coffee, first of all, I don't know. I usually don't partake in strange food, and by strange I mean food that people bring from home.
Yes,
right. So there was
very similar.
There was a loaf of zucchini bread there. Now you got to explain something to me. What is the purpose of zucchini bread?
It's a hybrid food.
Well, why do we really need zucchini bread in our lives? Like it's just like carrot cake.
Yeah, it's a hybrid.
What's
like vegetable and dessert?
What's the point of it though? Like who? First of all, I believe zucchini could be the most overrated vegetable ever. Like what could you possibly do with zucchini? I know people grow it. It's easy to grow, and it sprays out all over your land, and you get some big zucchinis, and the bigger ones really aren't the good zucchinis. But it's the most for my money, it's the most overrated vegetable ever.
You may be right.
Ray's going, I don't know about that. I kind of like zucchini.
Yeah, I'm kind of confused on this one.
What do you do with zucchini? There's only one way to cook zucchini where it's palatable. You cook it in kind of like a tomato sauce.
You could cut it real thin and put it on top of like chicken, can't you?
It has no taste whatsoever, zucchini.
Now, would you rather have zucchini or hearts of palm?
Hearts of palm all day.
Really?
Yes.
But to be overrated, don't you have to be rated?
Well,
people walking around like my top five
grow
vegetables.
Every backyard garden grows zucchini. And you get these big zucchinis. They look at this big zucchini. I go, that zucchini's worthless. That the bigger they are, the more seeds they have in it. There's less meat in it. You people don't understand. You're not supposed to let it grow that big.
Also, I'm being corrected. Zucchini is a fruit, not a vegetable, because it has seeds.
Even worse, it's gonna not even be a top 20 fruit for a lot of people.
That's not a fruit.
It's considered a fruit because it has seeds inside, just like pumpkin, just like a tomato.
Tomato is considered a vegetable and a fruit.
Well, maybe a zucchini is the same.
And nobody's rating the zucchini over the tomato.
Can't be a fruit.
Here's what I got on Google. Although zucchini is often considered a vegetable, it is botanically classified as a fruit.
Oh, botanically this. Everybody knows it's a vegetable. Where is it in? In the fruit stand in the grocery stores? Where is it stored? With the vegetables or the fruits?
The stores I go to, it's all kind of together.
Give me.
What store do you go to? I want to know. I want to know.
We were big Trader Joe's people.
Yeah, that makes sense.
He's a Trader Joe's.
Yeah, it checks out.
It does figure per bill, doesn't it?
It's the best.
Yeah.
You can't get everything there.
Yeah, I know. So, like, if you're going down the list of overrated vegetables, I happen to be a vegetable guy. I like vegetables. I think they're good for your fiber, they're good for your system.
All right.
What do you got?
The one that I think is extremely overrated. Asparagus, for two reasons.
Oh, I'm a big asparagus fan. However, it does make your urine smell.
Correct. It's after you eat it, what it does. But I also hate trying to cut it on your plate, trying to chew it. It's just
because you're not doing it right.
The texture.
You have to get a stalk of zucchini and you break it. Where it breaks.
You mean asparagus?
Asparagus.
Yeah.
Where you break it is what you keep.
Well, I'm talking about at a restaurant. Like, I'll go to a steakhouse and get asparagus.
A restaurant's cheating. They're not doing that individually.
Well,
they're just chopping off the bottoms, and you might get the fibrous stalk.
So, are you using a knife to cut it into pieces, or do you pick it all up and just chew it like Bugs Bunny would eat a carrot?
You make it tender so you can just fork cut it.
Yeah. So and I've been to nice steakhouses. It's never like that.
Well, then you just send it back because that's the chef who's not snapping the zucchini where the tender part breaks off from the tough part.
Yeah, I would say
that's overrated. Huh?
Yeah, it's an overrated one. Trying to think of any other overrated.
What are your top 3 vegetables, Mr. Health?
It's tough, man.
They're all so good for you.
They are. I mean, I don't know. Like, do you consider lettuce, like romaine?
You're going to go romaine lettuce as your top vegetable?
And top 3?
I'm a big romaine guy.
That's a system vegetable if I've ever heard one.
I like Brussels sprouts.
I'm a big Brussels sprouts guy.
I like banana peppers.
I love a Brussels sprouts was the topic of the morning show.
Broccoli doesn't make your...
Broccoli's up there for sure. Yeah, big broccoli guy.
You can't go wrong with broccoli. And my point of this is I went to a a joint. I got to admire the people that think of these things. Like the first thing that popped up, that honey grow concept, like that was awesome.
I go there every day.
And people go with the sweet green. And it's like I went to a place yesterday called Kava. You heard of Kava, man?
Love Kava.
I discovered Kava yesterday.
Big.
Right?
Oh, dude, we've been going there for a couple years.
It's like the Mediterranean Chipotle.
What? That's exactly how to describe it.
Fantastic.
I go to the one over in Mount Laurel near the Moorestown Mall. So I guess that's Moorestown. Very good.
Yeah, a little Mediterranean. You get a little grain going. You get a little greens in there. You get the chicken. You get a little feta maybe.
Excellent spot. Yeah, that's
Fantastic.
a good call great call by you.
Thank you. I just discovered it.
Everyone on Temple's campus now.
Is that
Game
right?
changing.
Yeah, the kids love to. Going.
I don't know how any of them afford it, but it's game changing.
The health joints.
Here's what never ceases to surprise me about sports talk radio in Philadelphia with Mike. We're talking about Jalen Hurts. We're talking about the playoffs. We bring up zucchini, the phone lines blow up.
Yeah. Well,
like what the hell?
No, like some things like resonate with me. Like I go to get coffee and I see this this slab of zucchini bread.
Where is it?
Wrapped in saran wrap at the coffee station down there where we go.
Oh, that's a long walk.
It is. So I see it and it says on it zucchini bread, written in handwritten note on it, and it's somebody's homemade zucchini bread they brought in. They want somebody, they share it. And I go, what is the point of zucchini bread? Like, why would you even think about making zucchini bread?
Like, it's good. I'm gonna make a run down there as soon as we hit the break.
It's just cake with a little zucchini thrown in it. Just make the cake part.
Works for me.
All right, let's go back to the phones with this silliness. Justin in New York. Justin, you're on 97.5 The Fanatic. Justin.
Hey, guys. Thanks for taking my call. And, I'm pretty excited Sunday. I got tickets to the game. I'll be heading down there. And
Beautiful.
And
playoff situation.
Yeah, I haven't been able to make it to the link this year. I went to the Giants, Eagles, and the Meadowlands. I live up here now, but I haven't been able to get there. I've been waiting for the playoffs. But I'm not too concerned about Hurts, honestly, for a couple of reasons that Ray pointed out. I kind of feel like if they were really concerned, something would have leaked by now. And also, I kind of trust Vegas at the end of the day. Like that's a Hurts line they're putting out there. I would think they would kind of have a good idea. So I'm just kind of trusting that. And
that's a good way to look at it. The fact that it hasn't leaked that he's going to play is what worries me. I have the opposite part of what you're concerned.
No, it's definitely like if he doesn't practice tomorrow, I'll officially get worried for sure. But I think 3 weeks that's very rare for even Tua when he had that crazy concussion the first time. Only missed like 2 weeks, and this last time they precautionary had to hold him out for like a month. But it's rare for 3 weeks, I think, to miss, and it wasn't like a brutal concussion. I know it's tricky with the brain.
Well, we don't know how brutal it was. I have to think it's more brutal than we thought because he would have bounced back within a week or 10 days at the most.
No, I definitely agree. But in terms of the game itself, I'm always a little nervous just because of the stakes of the game at this point in the year. But I just think we're the better team. I can't find too many areas the Packers I could say are better than the Eagles.
I totally agree with you. I think the Eagles are the better team. The only thing that's worrying me is and let me ask you this: if you have to start the backup, do the Eagles win?
It's close to a 60-40 Packers win. The Packers would probably be a 2.5 3-point favorite. I wouldn't feel good about it.
All right.
But I think the Jair Alexander injury, it's not been talked about too much, but I think that's big because that means their number 2's got to go on A.J. Brown. Their number 3.
No, I agree with that. I absolutely think they're the better team and they should win. I don't have any problem, except if the backup plays. All right, let's play Give Me 3 with you. Give me 3. We're going to go to a playoffs team here. The Minnesota Vikings. Give me 3.
All right, Dante Culpepper, Randy Moss, Adrian Peterson.
Pretty good. Culpepper's your first one. Interesting. Dante Culpepper is the first one he goes with.
I was on my senior class trip to Disney World at Animal Kingdom. Dante Culpepper's there with his family. No one had any idea who he was.
Did you?
I did.
Go up to him and say, hey, Dante?
I think that's a violation. You don't bother people when they're with their family.
No, I'm not saying bother them. I gave it by him and go, hey, what's up, Dante?
That's exactly what I did.
Did you?
As I was walking by, I just said, what's up, Dante? And he gave me a nod.
Ah, good for you.
Yep.
610-632-0975 back after this.
Andrew DeCecco.
When you look at what the